Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com, and I'm here to tell you about a nightmare I had that woke me up about 3 o'clock this morning. If you're new, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, so I was fast asleep. Then I was having this nightmare. I was in the Facebook head office in the States somewhere, and there was a lot of, it was like a skyscraper, and there was a lot of glass windows. I was looking out the window and I saw this kind of light, and I just knew it was bad news. And I was watching it. It was trying to break into the head office of Facebook. And it was some sort of intelligence, but I knew it wasn't good. And Facebook were well aware of this, and they actually had 3 or 4 strategies to try and stop this thing from breaking in. Anyway, what would happen is as soon as they'd put one thing in place, it'd morph, it would mutate into something else. And so eventually what this thing was doing was, as the Facebook staff came in the building, it would infect them and they would bring it into Facebook. So it got out of control. All of Facebook was infected, and it was going hell for leather outside and spreading across the United States like crazy. That was when I decided I'd come back to Australia, and I was on the mainland, probably in New South Wales, I suspect, but I could see it was starting to come to Australia as well. So then my husband and I decided to move down to Tasmania, which is an island off the south of Australia. It's quite a cold place, but a pretty place, sort of like New Zealand. And anyway, we were there and we were hearing stories of how it was going around the world, and it was a virus and it was killing lots and lots of people. And besides that, people were going absolutely crazy nuts. So like really like that was part of the virus, as they couldn't think straight. And so they were doing very illogical things like killing each other, blowing buildings up, terrorism, all sorts of hatred. It was like it was bringing out all of the hatred of people, and violence and the anger and the rage. Anyway, we were down there in Tasmania, and I was looking out across Bass Strait, which is like looking north across to Australia, but you can't see Australia. Australia's about 100 miles away or something like that. And then I started to see these bits of debris come into the beach, and I was looking at them, and I realised when I was surveying them that these were bits and pieces of buildings. Not only were they from Melbourne, all this debris in the ocean, they were from the US. And so all of this debris was coming in, and I knew it was bad news. And what happened was the salt water didn't kill the virus, and the virus was on the debris. And so it came to Tasmania, and I was just like, oh, what do we do? And I knew Facebook had discovered a few things to try and control it. One of the things was get married. I know it sounds bizarre, but then there was a couple, a woman and a man. The man was very strange, and they had just gotten married, and they were in a white old-fashioned Jaguar car. That was like their wedding car, and she was still in a wedding dress. And I'm looking at the husband, I'm thinking, oh, there's something wrong with him, he's got it. And so I tried to tell her that your husband's got the virus, but of course she didn't believe me, because nobody knew it was on Tasmanian soil yet. But yes, he had it, and he picked it up from swimming in the ocean with the debris. Anyway, so it woke me up. I was so scared. I was so like, what is that? You know, what is it? And I was thinking about it, and I said, God, what is the name of the virus? And I heard very, very clearly, selfishness. The name of the virus is selfishness. So there seems to be some sort of connection. I mean, there is the obvious connection of if people want to go out and party and not social distance or not wear a mask, they're only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about being asymptomatic, not knowing that they could possibly have the virus and they're just carriers and they're spreading it, okay? But the whole thing kept me awake for, I don't know, till 5 o'clock or something. I had to get up early anyway, but yeah, it's really shaken me up. And so it seems to me that what we really need to deal with is this concept of being so selfish that we don't care about other people at all, even if they die. And there seems to be some sort of thing like, oh, well, if they're a certain age, they've had their life, so therefore they can die. That's okay then. No, it's not acceptable. I don't care how old people are. And in any event, even young people die from the virus. I heard the other day, it depends on the viral load, how much viral load they're carrying. So I heard the other day a 28-year-old doctor who was working in ICU actually died from the virus because obviously, even though he would have had protective gear, he was so enveloped in virus, his viral load was very high. So I know I keep harping on, but vitamin D is a really good thing. And if you can't get even if you get enough sun, actually, you can still have low vitamin E because not everybody has enough receptors to make their own vitamin D. So a supplement is a really good thing. So that's just one thing, of course, you can do. There are the obvious things that we hear about, washing hands, blah, 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 hygiene and all of that. But it's certainly, if you're going outside, please don't go into crowds because that's where it spreads like crazy. Ventilation is very important. So, yeah, please consider other people. And, you know, the whole concept of selfishness, it doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice yourself. So here's the thing. It's important to have the balance right. You don't want to be sacrificing yourself so much that, you know, in the long term it's untenable. But if you can just go 10%, and we all need to do it, and just 10% extra kindness, if we can all just do that a little bit, that will help. And from a spiritual point of view, it will help. There is a connection between selfishness and the virus. I know now beyond a shadow of a doubt. If we don't do it, it's the end of the world. Like literally, it was so scary, this dream. And I haven't had any COVID dreams since February, when I had about 20 of them. And it took me that long to work out what was going on. It wasn't till the end of February that I understood what it was all about. And I haven't had any since. So the fact I've had that nightmare last night makes me very, very concerned that there's worse to come if we don't get our act together. So it's got to start somewhere. And even if this sounds bizarre to you, just please try to be kind, think about other people, the animals and the earth, okay? Because this is like plague number 1, you know, or maybe number 2, because we had the fires first. And now in Australia, we had the fires last year. And now we had this, they're having the fires now in the US. There's other things. There's an economic collapse that is coming because the fundamental building blocks of the economy are not in good shape. So to carry so much debt, it's untenable in the long term. So there will be an economic collapse. It's just a matter of when and how we deal with it. So I feel like there's a whole lot of other things. Like we're going to have problem upon problem upon problem, and yet we could mitigate the losses by just being kind to each other and the earth and her animals. So please give this some thought. I would really appreciate that. And you know, it's not the end of the world totally. We've still got choice. We've got choice right now. We can start today. But if we do nothing, it's going to get worse. I'm sure of that. Sorry to finish on a downer, but I need to tell you the fact I'm having nightmares, it's like it needs to be said. Okay, I'm not going to carry it and drag myself down, by carrying this energy without doing something about it, which is what I'm doing. Okay, well, that's it. If you're a subscriber and you found this even mildly interesting, please consider joining my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell right now. Okay, thanks again everyone, and I shall see you again soon. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.